Assalamu alaikum. Happy Ramzan. Peace be upon you. My name is Danish, ID 49310, and I'm going to present you the Ericsson BUPS leadership case study by Dr. Daniel. In the first slide, I've just given a brief background of the case. We're talking about Ericsson, and it is one of the world's leading innovators of telecommunications products and services, which has operations in approximately 175 countries, and there are a number of characters in it. And the main character is Habzik, and he's given the task of hiring candidates, and these candidates are to be selected from two categories. List A is provided by the board after shortlisting from 1400 applications, and list B is recommended by the CEO. Slide number 2 briefs what is required of us and what is required of the assignment. So what I have done is basically I have quantified the positive and negative traits so that I can arrive at the best candidate. And I must say it was a really interesting case because I could not reach at the conclusion until I completed all my assignment. So, and you will see that how I have done this. So if there is a positive trait, I have given 1 marks of it. And if it is a negative trait, I have given -1 and 0 for no categorization of the trait. So as you know that we have to use the appendix 2. So for the first 5 candidates that were recommended by the board, I have used appendix 2, and the criteria are given, and I've marked those criteria. So the first candidate is Kiran, and I have judged it that social skills is the dominant emotional intelligence is in Miss Karan because she is an ESTP and she is extroverted. She has young children. She is raising young children, and definitely she is negotiating. She is communicating going through a lot of communication with her husband because her husband is not with her. The husband lives in Riyadh. She is pursuing a lot of interests such as collecting Pakistani art, high fashion, and all that. And ESTPs generally have they like positions that require social skills. So that's why I have judged it to be a dominant emotional intelligence. Now, type of decision making. As the references show that she expects others to follow her example, and she often thinks that others are jealous of her success, and she is an STP, so I've categorized as a controller. And the type of leader is charismatic because ESTPs are charismatic, effective, and fun-loving leaders. And the source of power is expert power because she has a BA, an MBA, and she has also worked in Thales for 3 years. Similarly, for the MBTI personality types, I have detailed the strengths and weaknesses of each MBTI and potential to create a winning culture. I have tried to extract something out of the profile of the candidate. For example, reference 1 tells us that he has conflicts with co-workers. Reference to believe some colleagues are jealous of her success. So it might be correct, might be not correct. Nothing is absolute. Similarly, psychopathic characteristics. Nothing suggests that she has a psychopathic character from the candidate's profile. This is how I have used my best judgment, and then I have categorized the dominant trait of each candidate. So if Kirat is dominant in social skills, she gets 1 number. If Omar Abdur Khan is dominant in self-regulation, he gets a 1 number. And similarly, all the candidates get 1 number. So even if I'm wrong, all the candidates are getting 1 number because they have a personality, and that personality has a strength, has a weakness, and a potential for growth area. So they are all getting 1 number. So even if I'm wrong, it does not change anything if I have made a wrong judgment because everyone is getting equal number. Now second, similarly, some is categorized as controller, some is charismatic, some is thinker, and like that. So everybody is getting 1 number. So again, if I have made any wrong judgment, still they are getting 1 number for each. Similarly, type of leader, charismatic, inspirational. I've used my best judgment. I've googled, I've read each of the MBTI, and I have tried to extract the main themes out of the candidate's profile and categorize them to my best judgment. Similarly, sources of power, everybody has an expert power. They are getting one number for that. But here we have the opportunity to reject two candidates out of the five candidates because Umar Abdul Khan has no related practical experience. Similarly, Orpa Rodella Rajina has no related practical experience. So even though they have the expert power, they will get the +1 number, but they also get a -1 because their expert power is not significant because they do not have the related practical experience. Similarly, potential to create a winning culture based on the personality, based on the candidate's profile, based on what I understand and what I've extracted from the candidate's profile, because we don't have the opportunity to meet the candidates, to interview the candidates. I have all categorized them as moderate and given them equal numbers. So it is justified when everybody is getting equal numbers. Then related to the psychopathic characteristics, because they all are not obvious, so I am giving them 0 number. I am adding 0 numbers. Now I am calculating the score of each candidate, and the total score for Umar Abdul Rahman and Orba is 4.5, which is less compared to the other 3 candidates. So based on the initial screening, I have to reject Umar Abdul Khan and Orba, and this is very true reflection, because you see that everybody is getting equal number, but there is some deficiency, some you see they are not up to the requirements because they do not have the related practice experience, and they should get -1 for that. So this is very true picture, true reflection, and fair. Now we are left with 3 candidates. Now we apply the criteria that is given in the profiles. For example, age, marital status, nationality and language, education, work study, designation, interest preferences. We are digging out the same traits, but now they are more quantifiable based on their age, based on their nationality, their education, work history. So, for example, Kirat is not disclosing her age, but still we can assume that she is middle-aged because she has young children, because she has just 3 years experience, because she is married, and that's why we can safely assume that she is a middle-aged woman. There is nothing to be give her a negative mark. There is nothing obvious that she gives a negative mark. Similarly, Rohan +1, Laila +1, and marital status. Now I have given -0.5 to Kirat Adil Haider, because you see she is married, she has young children, and if you Google young children means 6 to 8 years old, maybe school-going children, and her husband is in Riyadh. So basically she has to take care of everything by herself, and there is a chance that she may not be able to give 100% to the company. So I've just given -0.5 based on the things that it is very obvious. But this is not the same situation with Rohan and Laila, and Rohan has his wife with her, and Laila is divorced, and her children are capable because they are teenage. Similarly, you can see nationality, Pakistan. So all they're getting +1. They know a number of languages, and even if they don't, then it doesn't make much of a difference. We know Dr. Daniel does not know Urdu, but still it doesn't make much of a big difference, and he's living in Pakistan. Now the work history, 3 years, 7 years, 13 years. Now Kirat will not get an extra +1 because Rohan has worked with BUPS team. Similarly, Laila, the profile of Laila also includes Ericsson, so they have an extra mark for that. On the other hand, you see how fair it is. You see the designation of Kirat. She was the divisional senior projects team leader, and it is obvious that it is a high level position, so she gets 2 marks for that. But Rohan gets 1 mark and Laila gets 1 mark on the designation part. And interest, all the interests are unrelated. Maybe they like cooking, they like watching movies, listening to songs, they're interested in some Chinese literature. But the thing is that all are unrelated interests except that Leila likes studying languages. This could be beneficial for the company. So I've given, instead of -1, I've given her -0.5. And this is also very fair if you're just giving 0.5. It's very close match. Now references. You see, I closely studying Kirat's profile. It is very obvious because two references are almost saying the same thing, that she has conflict with co-workers and she believes that some colleagues are jealous of her, and based on her personality type she gets -1. But Rohan, nothing is negative. In reference number 2, he could not explain why. Similarly, in case of Leila, there is nothing to support. Or we see some insignificant things. Maybe they could be significant, but they are two different things and they are not supplementing each other. So we are only giving her -0.5 instead of -1. And when we calculate total, we arrive at 6 and 6 for Rohan and Leila. So there is a tie between Rohan and Leila. And Kirat gets rejected. Now we come to the last 4 candidates that were recommended by the CEO. The same criteria, the same thing I've applied to all that, and I have calculated their marks, and mostly they have equal marks. There is a tie between Ping, Thor and Sally. Only Lars gets -1 because of the harassment case and because of one reference where the referee has cited complaints against the candidate. Now out of the, again same criteria has been applied, and you see Ping, Thor and Sally has been compared, and you see Ping is 72 years but he is mandatory retired, so he gets a -0.5 for that, and he only knows Chinese, so he gets a -0.5 for that. But again, even if you get -0.5, because he is PhD and MSc and MSc, he gets 2 marks for that. He has 40 years experience, so he gets 2 marks for that. See, this is quite objective, and but amazingly he gets only 4 marks in total score and he gets rejected. And Thor gets 6 marks and Sally gets 6.5 because we do not find much of any negative traits except that they have unrelated interests, so this is standard -1 for everyone. Now here we get the graph, and based on the comparison of the last 4 candidates that are remaining, Sally gets selected because she has an extra 0.5 marks and she does not need to enter the last stage for screening. Now since Sally has been selected, we only have 2 more candidates that we can choose, but we have 3 candidates remaining. So what we do, we take the profile again and we find out if there is any underlying difference between the 3 that can help us reject one candidate, drop one candidate. So we see that mostly based on age, marriage, education, they're all the same. Even you see at the references and you see their interest, so they're getting equal marks. But the only differentiating factor is the designation, because Leila is system support technician and team leader at the call center, so she gets slight -0.5 for that, and she gets rejected. So this is leads to our final screening where Rohan and Thor are selected after a very tough competition, and then we give a final judgment of our result. Because, and amazingly you see that Rohan is INFP. INFP is best matched with a partner whose dominant function is extroverted feeling. So that goes with INFP and ESFJ. They are a very good combination, and INFP and ENF are a combination that could be ideal, but still both are extroverts, so they're going to go together well, and it's going to be a very good deal. It's not going to be an ideal deal, but it's going to be a very good deal. And then Ericsson work history is very interesting because Rohan knows Ericsson, Thor knows Ericsson, Sally knows Ericsson competitors as well. So this is going to be very interesting. Then education, they have a very good combination of academic and professional qualifications. Sally has project management professional PMP from PMI USA, and I am also PMP certified from PMI USA, and it's a very difficult qualification. Then there are no significant references or statements found for each of the selected candidates. So, and then HABSIG will work for the first year until they are ready to run the UPS project by themselves. So I think this is a very fair and true picture that I have reflected. And thank you, Jazakallah. If any other questions, I will be glad to answer them.